The end of the second checkpoint is nigh. So I guess it's time to get back to Pokemon Gaia, except I can only use Steel-type Pokemon. You guys seem to like the last episode, so I'm proud to give you guys part 2 of my Steel Monotype experience. If you're new to the series or the channel, first of all subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Part 1 will be in the description, which explains the Monotype rules and how these checkpoints are going to work. Checkpoint 2 will range from Gym 2 to Gym 4 this time, so we still have quite a bit to go. Reopening the game and... so my game didn't save. Fortunately, I always make backups. We just beat the flying gym, but since I loaded a backup, since getting a new gym badge means you get to use a new field HM outside of battle, I wanted to double check that I indeed had 2 HMs. Once I did confirm this, I realized Rock Smash was now a move with base 55 power. Anyway, I was looking around to find out where I needed to go next when I found Frostbite Cave. Since there really wasn't anywhere to go, I decided to go inside. After walking around the area for a bit, I noticed a new Elder's Grunt, so now I was absolutely sure I was heading the right way. At this point in the game, Linnell was dying at every corner, so I went and gave her the XP share to make the task of leveling her up a little bit easier. I also decided to give Arl Rock Smash to explore the area for items and for extra coverage now that Rock Smash was at least viable. Further into Frostbite Cave, I found an ice puzzle. My favorite. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. And once I finished the puzzle, a cutscene triggered, introducing us to the first admin of the new elders, Yunis. Or, as I kept saying throughout this recording, Yunis. Barely holding on for dear life and too far away to even bother going back to the Pokemon Center, I decided to press forward into the next ice puzzle, which this time took me literal minutes to solve. Now almost at the exit, I encounter Yunis and 2 other new Elders Grunts one more time as they explain in between themselves that they are in possession of a dormant Regice. Unfortunately, yet obviously, they started a battle with me, and my 27 HP Cola with no healing. I almost made it through, but I ended up getting walled by the Binacle, so I had to go back into the Frostbite Cave and redo the ice puzzle that I forgot the solution for. Now that my team has rested up and the new elders didn't use that time to escape, I was able to have a rematch with them. This time, things went way better, and I was able to take down the grunt easily. Then, things got serious when Yunis, the Elder Knights of the new elders, which I assume is ye olde English for commander, challenged me to a battle. And she brings up this banger of a theme? This battle was actually quite tough. Unlike the other grunts who mainly used ground types and rock types, Yunis specialized in ice types, which makes sense since she was in charge of handling Regice. Her first one was a Snover, which led with a critical hit Razor Leaf, giving me PTSD from my rival fight back in Nespine. Arl retaliated with a Rock Tomb, but even despite our advantage, Snover was able to last with a sliver of health remaining. Fortunately, because of Rock Tomb's speed drop, she outsped the Snover and took her down. Yunis in return sent out a Frostlass, which surprised me that someone had a Frostlass this early on. Regardless, her Frostlass's Ice Shard took me into the red, and Arl retaliates with another super effective Rock Tomb, which still dealt a decent amount of damage. After I healed Arl with the Super Potion, Frostlass double astonished me, flinching on the second one. I ended up finishing off the Frostlass with an Iron Head. Yunis' third one was an Amara, which I wasn't too scared of since it was quad weak to steel. Amara led with Mist, which in turn gave me a free Iron Head, taking down her ace. Her last one was a Noctowl, so I stuck with Arl since she quad resists both of Noctowl's stab types, and Rock Tomb is just so helpful. Noctowl started out with Reflect, which let it tank a Rock Tomb at above half health, but the Hail took him down to under half. Thanks to this, Arl put the Noctowl into red health, and the Hail didn't get out. No matter, since Arl took a confusion and I ended up beating Noctowl with 1 Iron Head. Yunis then takes this time to retreat, and I healed up all my mons when I realized I'm in the next town. I was also pleasantly surprised to hear more custom music, which goes to show once again how much effort was put into this. I found this one girl who said she was really cold and needed a battle to warm her up, so I took the chance and ended up winning. Then I found a King's Rock in a hidden area of the city. I gave it to Arl in hopes that she would get some clutch flinches in battle. While looking around, I met this guy who gave me an ability pill, which is sort of like an ability capsule. I wanted to see what type of abilities I could switch on my mons, but I didn't realize it just auto-consumes it, and suddenly, Linnell went from having Sand Force to Sand Rush. Well, regardless, Sand Rush could come in handy at many times, maybe, since she already has a tough time outspeeding things. I wanted to check out what the third gym was gonna be, but the gym was locked. Looking at the sign on the side, it seems to have implied that the gym leader is a fire-type gym. At first I was worried it would complicate things, but then I realized most of my team isn't even steel-type yet, and the ones that aren't also have an advantage against fire-types. So now it's just a matter of finding where the heck the gym leader ran off to. I ran off over to the side where I found another branch to Frostbite Cave. In this area was a sail fossil, which I had to fight a hiker for first. Unfortunately, the sail fossil belongs to the Amara line, which is ice and rock type. After that, I just checked every house looking for an NPC with a vastly different sprite than the rest, but no dice. I checked the cable car, but that just sent me back to my hometown. Next up was the Wind Mist Summit, which had a lot of black belts and kindlers, so I had a feeling I would be close to the gym leader in case they were actually a fire-type trainer. Unfortunately, the battle girls were insanely annoying to fight, and all they did was spam roost, so I ended up losing here too. This time, I waited her out to see what she was guarding, and it was just the TM for Aurora Beam. Moving up a little bit more, the other Cola came up to me and healed up my Pokemon. Then he rushed over to the Ignis route where a bunch more new Elders Grunts were situated. Making quick work out of these guys, I entered the big temple at the apex of the mountain. I also noticed that they all had these weird-ass Pokeballs, which was a nice attention to detail at least. Then this guy named Enoch suddenly lectured us about it being too late, and to awaken Regirock, and all that. Well, at least Yunis is a real name! Cola then tells me to search the area for any clues, despite there being a big book not too far away from where Enoch approached me. After inspecting the book, Cola just took a sacred book out of a temple and returned to the Pokemon Center. You know, great idea. Let's just take things out of a sacred temple, why don't you? Huh. I guess something happened. Professor Redwood meets up with us and explains that we can't just go taking down criminal organizations because of liabilities and responsibility, and then tells us we can do it anyway if we manage to take down the gym leader. So this is the squad going into the third gym, and from the first two gyms, I was excited to see what type of puzzle the third gym was gonna have. Yep, it's a nice puzzle. Fortunately, this really wasn't too hard at all, and the gym trainers had stuff like Nummel, which Cola easily made quick work of. One mandatory selfie with the gym leader later, and it's time to tackle the third gym of the Orctus region, Nina. Nina's lead is a Pig Knight, which starts with a flame charge just to give the player an idea on what the TM looks like. Cola's Bubble Beam is able to two-shot the Pig Knight though, even after a super potion, so it wasn't too bad. Is what I would say if it didn't end up being a 3-hit KO. Nina then sends out her Magmar, which I switch with Linnell on this turn because Magmar. I'm gonna swap. I'm gonna save just in case it's a camera up or something as an ace. Linnell takes a flame charge to the face before being able to burrow into the ground for dig. I was surprised to see Magmar faint after one dig though, but hey, we take those. Nina's third mon is a Heatmor, which I wasn't too scared of because I didn't expect it to outspeed Linnell. It did it, and I got a free one-hit dig from it. Linnell's putting in work today! Nina's final mon and ace is a... How did I... How did I know? Oh my god. This pretty much went how you would expect it to go. One stab 4x Bubble Beam took the Camerupt out in one shot, giving us the third badge on our Pokemon Gaia adventure. Next, I had to return back to Aero City so that I could take the ferry over to Sabolo Island, which is where Professor Redwood suspects the new Elders group is headed to right now. Sabolo Island is also home to the Sabolo Tower, which is where trainers test their skills to get to the top and obtain the power to harness Mega Evolution. I was also pretty surprised to learn that Mega Evolution was in this game, and since there was no steel types in the little area outside of Sabolo, and the cavern blocked by someone who was probably part of the new Elders team, I decided it was time to check out the Sabolo Tower. Let me tell you, this was the most frustrating thing I've ever faced so far. First, I fought a Jumpluff that hit me 5 times in a row with Bullet Seed. Twice! Eventually, I clutched it and had to fight a Grovyle next, who also liked to use Bullet Seed. And then after that was a Wormadam that wasn't too hard to deal with. Next, I fought a trainer with a Mantine, which I had absolutely no coverage for. So this took me several attempts because I swear to God, Cola always hit himself in confusion. I am not joking. He did not land a single move in confusion. I may have gone insane around this part. Every single turn, and it's driving me insane. Even after taking down the Mantine, I had to fight 2 Basculin, which I didn't even get through on the first try because I ran out of healing and Cola would just not land a single hit. It was only at the last moment that he clutched it and knocked out the Basculin. But oh boy, it's not over yet. This next trainer led with a Gumi, which walled out my entire team. A Gabite, which, you guessed it, sent me back into the Pokemon Center. The second attempt went a little better, but this trainer also had a Dragonair with Dragon Rage, which ate into my Moo Moo Milk reserve, but I was able to fiend it with a couple of digs. Tarrant wasn't too bad either since I had some coverage against it, and it all came down to Cola to take the Gabite down. Then, right after the match, Linnell ended up evolving into Excadrill. Fortunately, that was the last trainer before I had to fight Successor Bell, who was the final trainer I needed to defeat before I could deserve Mega Evolution. Thankfully, now that I had Excadrill, this match was probably the easiest out of the entire damn tower, even though Excadrill also decided to try and beat Cola's losing streak by seeing how many times she could flinch in a row. And I was paralyzed for most of the battle because I was afraid of a Steel type getting badly poisoned by Toxic. Maybe it is not the game that is bad, but it is the me that is doing the bad plays. After beating Belle, she kinda just ran off, and once I exited the tower, my worst nightmare entered the scene. And Belle said it was up to me to deal with Regirock since she can't leave the tower or something. Enoch then shows up with this bunch of goons as they try to stall me out while Enoch attempts to catch the Regirock. Then after I deal with the grunts, Enoch then decides to leave the rampaging Regirock alone and deal with me instead. Guys, there is a Regirock sitting right behind us in the back, and I don't think he's gonna sit there for much longer. But I get to hear the cool music though, so it's all good. Enoch leads with a Tyrantrum, which catches me off guard since I just fought an Amara not too long ago. Cola's Bubble Beams were enough to 3H KO the Tyrantrum. Then, next up was his Aerodactyl. Out of everyone on my team, I felt like Cola could deal with it best. I ended up making this risky play by taking a hit from the Aerodactyl at low health, which ended up paying off after one crit Bubble Beam. I didn't pay attention to who Enoch was sending next, but considering Enoch seemed to be using rock types, I thought it'd be safe to stick with Cola. I'm glad I did, cause he sent out Diggersby next, which, while isn't a rock type, is still weak to water. 2 Bubble Beams later, and the Diggersby was taken down. Last up was Enoch's ace, his Golurk. Cola lands another critical hit Bubble Beam, which almost one-cycles the Golurk, but fortunately, Enoch throws the match by using Iron Defense. Naturally, since Bubble Beam, it's a special move, I ended up just taking the win. Even after Cola swept his entire team, Enoch just ran up to the talking rock and chucked a Relic Ball, and then left. The happy music returns, and now the new Elders are in possession of both Regice and Regirock. Considering so far there's been a bunch of type-themed routes, I was really hoping that we'd see a Steel-type themed route soon. Maybe near Registeel's story portion or something. But while I was thinking about that, I realized I had no idea where to go. I ended up taking the ferry back to land to try and figure out what the hell to do, when, after about 18 minutes of running around, I remembered that I could now enter the cave the old man was blocking off. Inside there was a ragged map, followed by Cola walking up behind me. He explains that the reason he didn't step in against the new Elders was because he was getting his butt kicked at Sabolo Tower.
Don't worry, that's understandable.
He also gave me Surf, so now it's possible to head over to the next town. I gave it to Cola since it's one of the strongest stab water moves in the game before Scald came along, so this would really come in handy to make Cola get more out of his water attacks. Before we could set sail for the next city, however, Belle comes and rewards our hard work with a Charmeleon holding a Megastone. Unfortunately, Charizard never evolves into a Steel type even through Mega Evolution, so he's just gonna sit in the box. Heading down from the left exit of Sabolo Island was a bunch of sea routes. They aren't too notable though, besides there being a flying type themed area. Surfing a little farther, I made it to Voloon Way, which is home to a bunch of bug and poison type Pokemon, as well as the Monkey Trio from Gen 5. There was also a nurse at the start of the area which was super handy to have, which is then where I realized that this nurse also triggered this weird glitch I unofficially dubbed the Snakewood glitch, where healing the area dims out the area a little. So this is possible. Yep, I brought this upon myself. Getting into an encounter gets rid of the light changes though, but it's funny how that happens. Another earthquake happens, more trainers happen, and Surf is kinda just tearing through everything right now. After all of that, I finally made it to Voloon Town. I was getting ready to tackle the gym here too, but of course, things aren't that simple because the door is locked here too. Looking around, I find a ranger's hideout where one of them mentions a bug catching contest. It was then that I remembered Caesar was part Steel, and you could find Scyther in Johto's bug catching contest. Furthermore, I looked it up, and Scyther apparently is one of the mons you can catch in this contest, as well as the fact that it evolves with this Regal Stone I've been holding onto since the first episode. I didn't think it was going to be this useful, so I never brought it up, so I might as well bring it up now. Regardless, I can't tackle the challenge yet because a bunch of rangers left up towards Nemesis Cave to make sure that the people currently there are indeed safe and sound. So to move the story along, it was time for me to press forward and chase those rangers. Upon entering Nemesis Cave, I found a Durant, which is also Bug Steel, just like Caesar. I hesitated for a little bit because having 2 Bug Steel types might hold me back, but I haven't encountered a new mon in a while, so having that extra manpower would have been useful. I caught it and named her Ritsuko. There's no real reason behind the name other than the fact that it kinda sounds like Rize from Persona 4. Cola was also very close to evolving, so I sat around the area, because I wasn't lost, mind you. And those little bits of XP slowly added up to a level up, and now my entire team was full of Steel types. While I was still running around the area with a clear path in mind, I decided to train up Arl since she was also very close to leveling up. But right when I did, I found another of those fossil Pokemon on the walls of the cavern, and one of the rangers came up to me and invited me to participate in the bug catching contest. As I planned, of course. Right when I exited Nemesis Cave, however, we were introduced to the third Elder Knight, Ezekiel. Returning back over to Voloon Town, I start my quest to obtain a Scyther. Unfortunately, I could just never catch a break with this game because even with speed up, this took me forever. I named it Himiko after the Danganronpa V3 character, since, you know, she's red, and Caesar's red, and even after that, I lost the bug catching contest. What do you mean? Getting out of that contest as fast as I could, I evolved Scyther immediately into Caesar and began grinding. I also gave everyone a bunch of TMs to give them more coverage. Now I felt like my team was finally getting somewhere. Arl evolved during grinding, and I got everyone to around level 30 before entering the gym. Also because I was afraid of Cola jumping me before I entered the gym. This gym puzzle wasn't anything to write home about. All you had to do was fight a trainer, and then they would back up so you could step on a combi tile. After stepping on all the combi tiles, then you could face the gym leader. It was also at this moment when I realized how many bug steel types there are in this game. Unfortunately, because of how the gym leader was positioned, I couldn't get to where I wanted to be to get my selfie, so I had to take matters into my own hands to get the proper mandatory selfie. Apparently this nerd is the guy who robbed me of my win back at the bug catching contest, so now it gets personal. Gym leader Vernon starts off with a Shuckle, which threw my game plan off since I didn't really have a proper answer to this. Or at least I thought I didn't until I learned Bug doesn't resist steel. Regardless, Shuckle is still extremely tanky, so it was going to be a while until I take it down. Knowing this, Vernon made sure to set up a bunch of hazards on me. After 3 Iron Heads, the Shuckle goes down and next up is his Masquerain. I wasn't too worried about Masquerain since it was quad weak to rock, so I stuck with Arl. Oh yeah, remember when I said Surf was the best water type move in the game before Scald? Well, guess what? Because Scald is in this game too! Fortunately, Arl tanked it and it didn't burn, so things honestly could have gotten worse. 1 rock slide later, and the Masquerain is done. Next up was Caesar, which I decided to switch to Cola and take the speed drop. I didn't really have an answer to Bug Steel, so I just used Surf to whittle down the HP. Caesar led with U-turn, however, and switched into his Beedrill. Surf ended up doing a lot of damage, and on his next turn, Vernon used that Beedrill like he won in the bug catching contest, and then proceeded to use U-turn. Again. Fortunately, since Empoleon resists like 11 types, Empoleon still took the hit pretty well, despite it being a crit. The Caesar came back out and came at Cola with another U-turn, which let me take out his Beedrill. After that, I just needed to tank one more U-turn and I won the battle. After Vernon gave me the TM for U-turn and the badge, I gave U-turn to Caesar to give it a more reliable physical bug type move and headed out. This marks the end of the second checkpoint of the Pokemon Gaia monotype, and now that I'm 4 gyms in, I'm really excited to see what happens next. Gaia so far has been pretty fun and challenging, despite all the RNG going against me back at the Sabolo Tower, but sometimes I feel like the game just forgets to guide you on where to go. Sure, the game doesn't go out of its way to hide them in cryptic ways, but at least having a little direction would have helped. Regardless, let me know if you guys are enjoying this type of content in the comments below, and liking the video really does help, and hey, subscribe while you're at it. I do a bunch of edited content on Sundays, and every other day you can find me messing around in other games. The support is greatly appreciated. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Oh my god. Dude, I am... God, every time, dude. This game is torture. I swear to God, he's hit himself in confusion every single turn, and it's driving me insane. I crit. I snapped out of confusion. Oh my God, I'm dead. I'm dead because no matter what, I will always hit myself in confusion, and it is not funny. Okay, thanks for the attack boost. Oh my, I'm dead. I'm +4. Gone. Just like that. Just like... Oh.